Welcome, everybody, and thanks to everyone at home for tuning in to our first edition of Boca Goes Live. My name is John Thomason, managing editor of Boca Magazine, and in this exclusive web series, the editors and personalities behind our award-winning magazine will be conversing at a distance with some of Palm Beach County's power players. Now, for our first Boca Goes Live, I couldn't be more pleased to welcome Marilynn Wick. You all know Marilynn as the founder and creative force behind the Wick Theater and Costume Museum and internationally acclaimed Costume World collection. Marilynn has been featured on The Today Show and been profiled in People magazine, Vogue, and numerous other publications. She is a dynamic entrepreneur and lifelong advocate for the arts, and we're lucky to have her here in Boca. Marilynn, thanks for joining us on our first Boca Goes Live.
Well, thank you, John, so very, very much. I'm honored to have the time to spend with you in this very, very complicated time.
And I see that you are not working from home. You are still coming into the theater every day?
Yes, I absolutely am. And we haven't missed a beat. We've come every day. We've been sitting alone most of the time. My daughter's been coming as well because she actually runs the theater and I run Costume World. We do this together jointly. And let me tell you, it has been we have been so busy trying to put out the fires and make people happy.
Yes, and I just want to remind everyone that the week that everything shut down here in South Florida and in much of the country happened to be maybe the busiest week for South Florida theater of the whole season. You were just set to open a chorus line, and I think something like 6 or 7 other theater companies were also opening shows that weekend. And most of these shows had to shut down even before their opening nights, or maybe they had one performance. You actually held out a little bit longer than the others and ran a chorus line through its first weekend. I wonder if you can walk us through some of the backstage goings on as you were deciding if and when to close during that tumultuous time.
Yes, it was a very, very complicated situation, John, to say the least. Unfortunately, we had an opening on the gala opening on a Saturday night, and we had the closing on a Sunday afternoon. So all of that happened within 48 hours. And the unfortunate thing is that we had been in high rehearsals for over 3.5 weeks. And the show was really promising. And it was going to be our highest marketing show. We had sold about 9,000 tickets. And we had an equity cast that flew in here from New York, from all over the country, of 11, which is very large. But it was a 24 cast ensemble. So it was a very difficult time. And I was holding on to the very last moment. But then I realized the safety of our clients and our performers were much, much higher than having the show.
Now, you've kept everybody around, hoping that this production will eventually get to have its full run. What's it been like? Has there been a financial strain involved with keeping all of these actors here in limbo?
It absolutely, of course, has been. We had 11 of them stayed because most of them live in New York City. And as you were well aware, the situation there was very, very crucial. And they literally did not want to go home. And we were hoping that, things would clear up, straighten up, and that everything would be okay. But as of yesterday, we are trying still to remount this in July. But as of yesterday, the last people did finally go home, but they didn't go to New York. They went to Orlando, Sarasota, St. Petersburg, many other places surrounding. So if we can start up in July, they will come back very quickly.
Right. And in terms of starting up again, of course, Florida has the various phases of reopening. And so far, this part of the state is not even in phase 1. Which of these phases performing arts venues which of these phases includes performing arts venues like yours?
Well, unfortunately, I was hoping we would be with the movie theater group, but I'm not positive that's happening. But there are some very other strong, huge issues that I'm not sure the public actually understands. When you have a equity regional theater like the Wick, we have a relationship with Equity, and Equity has not yet written down their OSHA promises of exactly what is going to happen. And we have no guidelines, so we have no permission yet to open with Equity, and that would have to be our first call. Of course, if the governor opens the state, and then if the mayor would approve of our guidelines, we've set up an incredible program, very, very safe. And if we can get the patrons, we did do a survey, and the survey came out, John, that would you come in July after the 4th, in between the middle of July, and would you come and see Chorus Line? And 55% of the people that answered said they would. It was practically a 50-50 split. Of course, there is a large amount of people that, of course, are still hoping to go home to New York or their other destination. We have a huge percentage of people that do not live here yearly.
I would imagine it's safer to stay here for the Snowbirds. You may actually
Yes.
have them for July when you wouldn't normally.
Yes, we have really encouraged each and every one of them that have called, and we say, why don't you stay here? We're going to have a fabulous summer. We can get this thing open after July 15th. You can enjoy some wonderful theater, live theater. We have talented performers, and we're very excited to present the show.
Now, if the Wick is mandated to open at, say, a 25 or a 50% seating capacity, would that be acceptable for a while, or do you need a fuller house to be able to survive?
Well, at this point, we've had this huge investment into Chorus Line. We still have the set here on stage, lights, all of that to mount a production up front, paying the royalties and the rights all the way across the boards and rehearse people. You've already, before you've sold the first ticket, invested about $250,000 that you have to come up with. And that has already been done. Besides the incredible loss, we were lucky to have 2,700 subscribers this year. And of course, this also happens in our subscription drive for 2020 and 21, which is really, really a complicated thing for our older clients. They're listening to the news and saying, oh, you might not be able to go to the theater for a year. And that really frightens them. And I can appreciate that.
Well, can you talk about some of the unprecedented things that the Wick is doing to ensure that the theater is safe and hopefully a contagion-free zone when patrons are able to return again?
Well, let me tell you about how we have actually, today, we had a small seminar, and we have, under the guidelines of the actual OSHA package, we will be taking temperatures, we will be zoning everyone, they will be doing social distancing. We're measuring every ounce of our theater and setting it up incredible so that everyone will be safe and secure. And if we can only have 100 people here at the 25%, that would be, we would have 10 performances, and we could cover and meet our needs. We do not want to cancel this production. We want our patrons to see it, and because we've already got this large investment, we're really just hanging on until something happens.
But at the same time, you're also looking ahead and being quite proactive in rescheduling, your season closer, which was Nonsense, which is now scheduled to open September 10th. How confident are you, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, that the show will indeed be able to go on at this time?
Well, I'm really hoping that this won't be a complicated on the fence situation unless something drastic happens. They start to rehearse the last week of August, and there's only 5 in the cast. The restrictions that I feel are going to happen with OSHA is that they're only going to ask us maybe till the first of the year to have productions with no more than 10 in the cast. And that would give some social distancing, and the back of the theater will be all laid out separate dressing rooms for everyone. And when they're on the stage, separate situations. Of course, the last show is the 5 Crazy Nuns from Hoboken, and I think it will be a fabulous situation. I've talked to Cindy Williams. She is excited about coming, and she said, Marilynn, we will be there if everything is okay. She lives in Las Vegas. So as you know, Las Vegas is opened up a month ago, a week ago. So I feel like all the other 4 live in LA, the performers. So I'm hoping that OSHA will have everything set by then. Please, please make that happen for us some way or another.
Now, what's really unusual is that if the show is able to run at its scheduled time, we're talking about Nonsense, it will close on October 4th, and then you've got another show right after it, Breaking Up is Hard to Do, opening October 15th. How do you manage such a speedy turnaround?
Well, first of all, Breaking Up is Hard to Do is a Neil Sedaka work. It is only 6 performers, right in the guidelines. The music is incredible. It is the first show of our 8th exciting season. And I think it will be fine because we have a rehearsal hall in another location at the Costume World Wick headquarters in Pompano. So they can rehearse there, and the show will be going on here. So they will be separated. And we are waiting, of course, very anxious to hear what OSHA and Equity will want with housing, because in that production, we're going to have 6 people. 2 of them are from LA, Didi Khan and Barry Perlman. And they are, of course, they were in the show Grease and the movie Grease. And so they are very excited to come as well. And the other performers are going to be local, the other 3. So I'm hoping that that will work out okay.
Well, incidentally, it's quite an operation that you need to have as a regional theater, even under normal circumstances. And I don't think people realize just how much it takes to put on a show, wouldn't you say?
Yes, under no circumstances do people understand that. We literally, from the moment we announce a season, we buy the rights at that time. And you have to put the rights and the money up front to even get on a stage and say to someone, you're doing that production. Now we are so concerned and want to get things straightened out because January 15th, we are doing Mamma Mia. We waited 3.5 years to get the rights to do that show. And we are hoping that everything will be worked so that that show could go on, and that show will run for 6 weeks. And we can cut it down to 14 to 15 fabulous performers. And of course, the music is so incredible, and everybody knows it, and they're looking at it. They're looking so forward to coming to that production, and that was helping us sell our season.
And so just to give our watchers and our listeners a rundown of that season, we mentioned Breaking Up is Hard to Do opens the season in October. It's followed by Meet Me in St. Louis, a great family show in December. As you mentioned, Mamma Mia is coming in January and February. Then we have Damn Yankees, a classic Broadway musical in March, and Smokey Joe's Cafe scheduled to close the season in April. What's the best way that people can support the theater during this trying time? Is it through season tickets for next season?
Well, yes, we'd love to have new subscribers because unfortunately we've lost some subscribers that are nervous about coming. And that has been a burden to the theater, of course. First of all, we've lost these 2 huge productions, and the money coming in from them, if we are able to do it, we can regain ourselves and pick a little footage up. And then we go into the season, and hopefully people will want to get out, be relaxed, enjoy themselves a little bit. They've been cooped up all this time. And I think live theater is so exciting for people. Even though that they'll have to be, they can come with their friends, and it will be wonderful if we can do this. Yes, the burden has been very great. And I have to tell you, we have had some assistance. Some donors have been so wonderful and gracious, and we need more help. And the loss right now is at least over $1 million for the theater, and we want to keep this theater going. And thank heavens I have my relationship with SBA, and they are supporting, they've been very supportive through the government for our mortgage, which has really, really helped. And if everything goes well, we'll be really doing well by October, and we'll be able to pick up some steam. Remember, John, this was a theater that was in serious bankruptcy, and it's taken me, I was just so happy in the 7th season to come to the theater every night because the burden had been lifted off my shoulders. Hey, we're finally getting there. And then something like this happens. And then you have to regroup. We are reprogramming our theater right now. We're going to have a different platform. So we are going to be more in touch with our subscribers and our clients. We opened this theater. We had to have it open within 6 months from the actual negotiations of the theater. And it didn't give us a lot of time to actually get programming, development, all the things we desperately needed. We finally did get our PP program. So our employees today was the very first time they came back to work after 6 weeks. And I can't begin to tell you how happy they were and how motivated they are to save this theater for the community. If anybody is reaching and hearing this, please help us, because we do need the help. And we appreciate it 100%.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to bring some of your staff back. We need good news like that. It kind of follows up on the last thing I wanted to ask you, which is there's a lot of loneliness out there. I saw an article this week about a surge in sales of antidepressants with everybody quarantined. What kind of a role can live theater play in a time like this in terms of uplifting people?
Live theater can really bring joy to so many people. I have to tell you, when I opened this theater, I never ever expected, people walk in the theater, want a seat, and they're a little antsy. When they walk out, they're different people. They're happy, they've enjoyed themselves, then they're going to go out and have a wonderful dinner. The majority of our clients are elderly. They look so forward to this. I have so many letters. Please, please don't close the theater. And I need to reassure each and every one of them that we will not be closing this theater. This theater is going to go on forever, as far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm here. And my family, my children are supporting it as well. We all work together. And this has been an interesting time to find out how wonderful, how much joy we have brought to the community, because they have expressed it. So I understand that loneliness for everyone right now. Even myself, I'm a very active person, and let me tell you, I said to myself, well, I'm certainly glad I have the theater to go to every day, because I don't think I'd want to be sitting home alone, and that can be depressing. So we bring joy to the community, and we bring memories that come back to our elderly people that watch these shows. And when they walk out of here, they say, oh, I remember those songs. That was the best time of my life. So I really seriously think that if the subscribers support us, we'll be just fine. And I know they will. They love the place. And this has been a whole new addition to their lives.
That seems like a great place to leave this. If you want to learn more about the WIC, please visit its website at thewic.org and search for them on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks so much to Marilynn Wick, and best of luck staying sane and positive through all of this.
Thank you, John, so much. I'm so happy to share the WIC Theater to you and, of course, to the community. Thank you so much. And remember, it's always more fun with live theater. We got to get it going again. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you, audience, for watching our first ever Boca Goes Live. Our next guest will be John Tolbert, president of the Boca Raton Resort and Club. So stay tuned for that stream as well. Until then, stay safe, Boca. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.